Greetings, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome. Before we begin today, I wanted to try something out on y'all that I've been thinking about. A friend of mine recently asked, in a virtual fashion, what the deal with all this guided meditation is anyway, and what's the point? And can't you just take a bunch of drugs, whether they be legal or prescribed or recreational, to just sort of wipe the slate clean and start over? And well, I'm not going to really address that last part because I think that substances like that are really personal and different for everyone. I can really only speak to my experience with that, and that probably won't be very interesting. I think I would like to try to illuminate, in my opinion, the value of meditation and contemplation and any really sort of activity of contemplation, which I think sort of mindful meditation falls into. And I've been working on a metaphor. Metaphors are, well, they're never perfect. And this one is going to fall into that category as well. But it kind of works. So if one imagines that your body and your brain and yourself, as you think of it, as a car, and if you imagine your consciousness as the driver of that car, and everything we do in life as driving the car, well, there's many aspects to driving a car, and there's many ways you can drive a car. Soft, hard, highway, parking lot, plenty more that I can't think of. Recklessly, angrily, on the wrong side of the road, following rules, not following rules, in a way that's destructive to the car and the driver, or to people around it. All of the above. Well, I would say that mindfulness-based meditation, at least, is like, in this metaphor, taking some time to park the car and get out of the car and inspect the car and perhaps open the hood and inspect in there, to learn about the car. Some people have more knowledge of the functioning of a car than other folks. And every car is different. Even two cars that were made at the same time by the same manufacturer and are the same model will, from the moment they're driven off the lot, be intrinsically different, because they will be driven in different ways, and even if they're driven exactly the same way, there's still enough chance in life and enough randomness that manufacturing defects or just sort of wear and tear will be nominally different. So understanding your car is perhaps the best one can hope for. And of course, people who own cars may own multiple cars in their lifetime. That's where the metaphor kind of breaks down. And there's different levels of understanding of the car. You can understand things that are universal to a car. How the steering works, how the windshield wipers may work. You can understand things that are specific to your car, how a manual or an automatic transmission works, or how an electric drive or a hybrid drive car or gasoline-powered car, a conventional car, all transmit their various fuels and the energy released from the stored fuels, the stored energy in the fuels, to the movement of the car, to the movement of the wheels. And those will all be different. And then beyond that, you can learn even more the nuances of your car specifically. Like, I had my first car was a very old, clunky, lovely, I was very grateful for it, and I loved it dearly at the time, station wagon. And the rear tailgate, the window portion on cars back then did this, and it wouldn't stay up because the hydraulics were shot, so you had to put a stick in, and that was specific to that car. And it was something I had to learn about in order to operate that car specifically. And at some point, the differences between those classes or levels of knowledge don't really matter. What is universal to all cars? What is universal to different kinds of cars? Or what is specific to different kinds of cars? What is specific to your car? At some point, it's your car. And through observing the car in a stationary position while it's at rest or while it's idling, we can learn a bit about how the car works. And we can carry that knowledge with us as we get back in the car, put on our safety belts, of course, and then rejoin the world of motoring, going about our day doing whatever it is we're doing, engaging with the world around us through this mechanism. And the knowledge we've picked up by observing how this vehicle operates will be of use to us as we drive. We'll begin to appreciate sort of the miraculous complexity of being on the road and traveling at such high speeds, the functionality of it, and the functionality of all of these little integral systems that serve to make up this experience that we took for granted for so long. And we will begin to perhaps notice how the functional makeup of this vehicle affects our driving, affects our interaction with other motorists and with the road, and with what we're doing. And I realize that perhaps the car lists to the right, and that we have to correct for that by sort of tugging the steering wheel to the left. Or perhaps we may learn that something unique to third gear affects how we drive, and that there's better or worse ways of handling that. That it may be time to do something about that nuance, that particular quality of third gear. Or perhaps it's something that we may live and function and thrive with. But our understanding of the transmission allows us to perceive that more while we're driving the car. We may learn when the car is in trouble in some way, is having trouble functioning. How the environment may be affecting the car, how traffic may be affecting the way we drive, or how perhaps we've overloaded the car or overburdened the car with extra material we're towing or extra luggage, shall we say, that we filled the car with, and how that affects the driving of the car, and what we may do to make car driving more sustainable under those circumstances, what we may need to do in order to lighten ourselves to function better. So taking some time out to observe and appreciate the car in a state of non-movement, or a car in a state of rest or idle, will allow us to gain a foundation of the way the car operates and the way we drive it. Perhaps who we are as a car and driver together, and how we may better interact with the world around us. And the analog to that, the metaphor we are pointing to, is that we may be learning about ourselves by sitting in silence, by sitting observing some aspect of our resting state. We may learn about the characteristics of our awareness, of our body, of our mind, things that have been built on quirks of our consciousness, or quirks of being a human being on this planet in this time, today, right now. And this information is valuable in how we choose to move forward, how we choose to interact with others, how we choose to be. Even realizing that we have a choice never occurred to me until I started to sit and to contemplate deeply the nature of my awareness. All right, so feel free to let me know in the comments or any of the digital means or virtual means if you have a special, particular opinions about that metaphor, or don't. There's your choice. Now that I've spent so much time on metaphor, let's get started in what's real for us in this moment by closing our eyes, or allowing them to soften, allowing the gaze to release and relax. For the moment, trying to dampen the quality of informing ourselves about the world around us through the acquisition of structured information, really allowing it to just be a stream of information, passively absorbed and recorded by whatever mechanism does so. And just coming into our bodies for a moment, feeling ourselves sitting, feeling the quality of sitting, feeling the nature of our being grounded, the parts of our selves and our bodies that are in contact with the earth, with the furniture, objects around us, without needing to name or quantify or understand that. Can we just feel it? Just open the gates, let that information in. Now moving our awareness up to our pelvis, just above our sitting bones, taking a moment to find a comfortable position here, one that may allow us to prevent or minimize discomfort in the lower back as we sit for another 15 minutes or so. Finding neutrality and balance, front to back, left to right, or the overall sensation of balance and equality in those directions. Bringing the awareness now, allowing it to climb up the spine to the shoulders, taking a moment to explore releasing them down, away from the neck, and back, bringing space to the front of the chest, to the top of the chest, the collarbones, the bottom of the neck. Appreciating the spaciousness. Appreciating that this feeling of openness may be, in fact, more balanced than we normally are in our tendency to bring our limbs forward, bring our attention forward, engaging with what's immediately in front of us in the same way that our vision engages with the world around us. And that perhaps finding openness in the front, balance in the spine, is a more natural, more balanced way of being. Or maybe not. Moving the awareness now up to the neck, finding here too balance left to right, tilt of the head, front to back, the sort of lateral stretch left to right and front to back, and perhaps exploring a slight forward tilt of the skull. Finding space and relaxing tension in the occiput, in the area at the top of the spine, where the spine holds the head. Moving now to the jaw, finding relaxation here, perhaps intentionally introducing a gap between the upper and lower teeth. Relaxing the face, really exploring relaxing the face. Some of this may be entirely unconscious in our carriage and our posture, the way we've learned to interact with the world around us without questioning the makeup of our being and the makeup of our bodies. And what would it be like to find ease and relaxation just for a little while, knowing that no judgment need apply by ourselves or by others. Perhaps exploring ease for the first time today or for the first time in our lives. Knowing that this too is a journey. Knowing that we don't have to master it in the next few minutes. Really welcoming the opportunity to experience it in this moment. It's certainly the first time we've experienced this feeling in this moment. Moving the awareness now to the breath. Just observing our breathing and the sensation of our breathing. As a subset of the sensations in our body at this moment. And for this time, just dwelling in the sensation of breathing, anywhere and everywhere that it is felt in your body. Observing the mechanics, the feelings of the chest cavity move, the feelings of air as it passes through various parts and systems of our chest and our neck and our skull. Just observing the working. Observing the phenomena of observing the way we observe our breath right now. As we observe the breath, this discrete process within the body, this relatively subtle, easily forgotten phenomena of the body that has been with us in the background since we were born and will be with us for the rest of our lives. Perhaps other sensations in the body were more intense, drew our awareness away from the breath. This could be novel sensations like an itch or just a nervous twinge somewhere. It could be an aspect of our posture sitting, some part of the body falling asleep or feeling stretched or cramped. They could be even thoughts, secretions of the thinking gland, the felt sensations of the mind and of the brain. They could have been a beautiful dance of some of all of these parts. And when we realize that our awareness has moved away from the breath, from the body breathing, just releasing any grip that we may have on this train of thought or thought, feeling, sensation, story, and releasing any grip that the story may have on us, allowing it to continue to reside because it is a feature of ourselves in this moment. It is a part of the car. Just exploring the mechanism of choosing to come back to the breath and the feelings of the breath in this moment. For the remainder of our sitting time together, the next 5 or so minutes, we'll sit in unguided, self-guided, relative, and directed silence. Just again and again, coming back to the body as it breathes, observing any sensation that comes up. Whenever possible, choosing to observe rather than engage or be engaged with the phenomena. When we find we have moved out of the role of the observer, back into the driver's seat, if you will, just making the choice again to stop. Take the seatbelt off again and to observe what's here right now. Knowing that this is the practice, this is the invitation of the moment, this is the essence of meditation. At the end of our time together, we'll ring the bell again, signify that practice has come to an end. Allowing the awareness to follow the sound of the bell back up to the surface. Allowing the breath to deepen. Allowing ourselves to engage with the breath and with the body again. Experiencing bringing of movement back into the body in whatever way is comfortable or meaningful to you. That be moving fingers and the toes, the head, the neck, the shoulders. Perhaps just taking a stretch or twist, something to release some pressure that may have built in the body as a result of our sitting together for this time. If you haven't done so already, allowing the eyes to slowly, gently, and at your own pace open again, drinking in the world around us and our mode of viewing. As we re-engage with the world around us, preparing to get in the driver's seat again, getting back out on that highway. May everyone get to know peace and well-being and joy. May all of our actions in some way seek to help others get to experience these sensations, these realities. Namaste. Thank you, friends. Look forward to seeing you again soon.